it's not something that I've actually looked into. I've never had to look into it because I just refer to all of them as manager. I think
Yeah,
coach, okay,
yeah.
coach, head coach, and something that actually almost made me look into it was um, Liverpool recently. Liverpool recently had to get rid of their set piece coach along with the assistant head coach or something. And I just bruised over it. I just read it and I thought, oh, they got rid of. But it did tell me something. It did tell me that actually there's a set piece manager. I think, why is there a set piece manager when? But
Set
I don't.
piece coach, set
Yeah,
piece coach, perhaps.
set piece coach. Yeah, sorry, a set piece
Yeah.
coach. And I thought, well, why do they have to have a? I thought the manager. I thought Annie Law. Now I don't know if he's the manager now or head coach, but I thought Annie Law
Yeah,
was
he's the
the.
manager. Yeah,
Is
he's
it?
the
Yeah.
manager.
I thought he was the. I thought he oversaw everything. I knew they had assistants.
Mm.
Now, whether that's an assistant manager or an assistant head coach, I don't know now. It's something that I'll have to really look into. Right. So, talking about manager sackings, I'm seriously looking at Nuno Santos, and here's the reason why I'm looking at him. So it
Mm.
says West Ham United are now winless in their last 10 Premier League games.
Ten
And it,
games.
yeah, 10
Yeah.
games. So Nottingham Forest, Wolves, Brighton, Fulham, Manchester City, Aston Villa, Brighton again, Manchester United, Liverpool, Bournemouth. 10 games and he's still there. Um, hey, do we know if he's been given an ultimatum?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they lost on Saturday, didn't they? 3-0. And they definitely lost last night at home to Forest. And I watched some of that game. And was it last night? No, it was Tuesday night. I watched some
Yeah,
of that
Tuesday,
game.
yeah.
And it was a shame, really, because West Ham were leading 1-0. And then in the second half, they got another goal. And the joy was very evident in Nuno's face, the way he and his couple of his coaches sort of hugged each other as they do these days in real joy and pleasure, only to find this is the VAR thing, isn't it? So all that unencumbered happiness and joy is smashed to the ground because it was very slightly offside, I think was the problem. So it wasn't even arguable because, of course, offside with this semi automatic system they have with VAR, you're either offside or you're not. And so there's no point in arguing that. So it's often been said, isn't it, for fans as well? You score a goal. There have been times at Palace, we've all leapt in the air, it's a goal and all the stuff that goes with that, those moments of unbridled joy, only to find then there's big come up on the screen, a big deep noise, VAR checking for offside. Oh God! Now, if it turns out that it wasn't offside and the goal's given, then you're lucky because VAR gives you two great celebrations because you think you're dreading the worst, oh, they're going to disallow it. But no, it's given. So you celebrate a goal twice. But conversely, as I said before, like Nuno, like the other night, if you celebrate as you do, you can't think when you score, you can't think, oh, this will probably be offside unless it's obvious. You can tell sometimes a goal goes in, it's 8 yards offside, and yeah, it's ruled out. But most of them are not like that. So you don't think, oh, I better not celebrate too hard. And certainly managers don't think like that. They're either tearing up and down the sideline or whatever, only to be a bit embarrassed when it's all gone to dust, when it's disallowed. So onto dust when it's disallowed. So, yeah, it's VAR, which I think is still a good thing. I think, goals are given or disallowed, which in the past wouldn't have been, and therefore wasn't kind of authentic. But it was sad to see, the two sides of human emotion in poor Nuno, the joy, people's we all betray ourselves every day in what we're thinking because it comes across on our face. We don't always realise that, but certainly with something of such total pleasure, a goal at a time when they desperately need a win, you can't imagine that feeling. Well, you can imagine it, only to then be crushed. And of course, they're not just that. They then lose two goals. So they lose, it was 2-1 to Forest, yeah, the other night. And of course, to come back to your point, I think I think there's a general acceptance that Nuno is now in difficult territory. It's interesting because a friend of mine, she's a staunch West Ham fan, and she was saying the other day that, well, in fact, she was saying about a month ago, 5 weeks ago to me, said, "Oh yeah, Nuno's probably the best manager we've had for a while now, better than our recent ones, because he hadn't done too badly. Probably, as I say, I don't know how many weeks ago, but 6, 7 weeks ago, on the back of a couple of reasonable results." But then a game or two later, or in fact, quite recently, I was talking to her, and she said, "No, she said I think Nuno's had it." She said he's not doing what we all thought he would do. So she's completely changed her tune, which I think probably reflects a lot of West Ham's fans, of which she is one. And yeah, he's that kind. He's a good guy, isn't he? I think most of us like Nuno. He was at Forest, quite successful, really, with Forest until he fell out with the owner, of course. And to see him in a situation now where he's struggling, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, he also went to Tottenham, didn't he?
It
I'm
was it
sure he
was at
did.
it was at Tottenham, yeah.
Yeah, and he got sacked there.
Yeah.
So now he's losing his stuff, isn't he? It's a shame, but we wish him well, and I wish West Ham well. They've always been a good footballing club, and I hope they survive.
Yeah. So we're going to go into the next section of the football referee. Please join us as we transition into the next session with more topics to come. I've been Emmy Hikins, and he calls me Cos.
And I'm Trevor Gear, and he calls me Bruv. We'll see you
See
shortly.
see you shortly. See you shortly.